I think the only time that I consider chasing the market or look for the trends
Right.
is what are things people not going to want to watch? What are things that producers are not interested
Interesting.
in right now?
Do you try and figure out what the next big thing is
No, no, again, it needs to be the thing that I want to
that
watch.
you want to watch?
The thing that I want to spend the next, however many months, getting to know the characters and living in their world.
Right.
Now, you know, you can do that and find yourself writing, a World War II vampire movie that is never, that's a $1 trillion budget or something like
Right.
that. And that's probably not doing yourself any favors. So can you take the aspects of that you love and put it into something that's a little bit more marketable? I think the only time that I consider chasing the market or look for the trends
Right.
is what are things people not going to want to watch? What are things that producers are not interested
Interesting.
in right now? So after Twilight, the whole Twilight saga came out,
Right.
vampire movies were done.
Yes.
Nobody was going to make another vampire movie because everybody was sick of them. The market had been saturated. They'd made millions of dollars. Yay for them. We're done with that. So, if that's we're probably like coming out of that.
Yes. Yes.
Right. But it's been how many years now since the Twilight saga? It's been a bit. So
Right.
now you could start thinking about vampires. One thing that I think nobody wants to touch right now is, of course, a pandemic story.
Oh, come on. Yeah, in 20 years, our kids will be making pandemic movies, and we'll be sitting there going, "Well, I remember when you couldn't
I
find
remember
toilet
that.
paper."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I think I try and look for what genre is going to be popular. Like, we came out of about 4 years of a lot of like horror stuff was
Mhm.
prominent, right? And because if you look at like the overall feeling of people around you, everybody had a sense of terror. So a lot
Mhm.
of horror was popular, but I think we're going to be going into more like comedy. I
Mhm.
think we're going to be hitting a little bit more lighthearted. So I will consider that a little bit, but I'm not going to be like, I'm only writing comedies now. Like I just
Right.
kind of weigh it a little bit, try and feel how things are going to go. Um,
And I think you're absolutely right in understanding kind of the atmosphere, right? Just like nobody wants to see a pandemic movie because we're freaking living that.
right.
And so producers don't want to touch that right now. In 20 years or even maybe 10 years, they'll start to touch that. But right now it's sort of the age of, I think the thoughts are we're looking for sort of Shirley Temple, right? We need a positive distraction from the
Yeah.
darkness that we're living in,
Yeah.
and that's why I think you're right. Comedy, we're seeing the kind of the return of the rom-coms are starting to come
Yep.
back finally.
Exactly.
But I'm not going to write a rom-com because my heart and skill set is not there, so I know
Right.
what I'm good at.
Horror thrillers they can be very cheap to make. They can be very low budget. I mean, that's why if you see like Norwegian films, a lot of them are thrillers with a little bit of a horror because they can keep the budget real low. They can focus on character. They can have the ticking time clock behind a thriller. They can have a little bit of a horror jump scares. They can kind of weave all of this in there. So like coming in as a beginner writer, if this isn't a genre you're interested in and kind of had that burning desire, then yeah, writing a horror thriller could be a good way to do it.